My name is Lizzie Smoot, and this is my Masterlab presentation on Drupal modules. To kick this off, I'm going to give a brief introduction to Drupal, and then that'll be followed by what Drupal modules are, how to choose them, and then I'm going to show you a couple ways on how to download and extend them into your Drupal website. Drupal is a content management system that is used to power over 1 million websites for companies in many different industries. It's free, open source, and has a massive community that contributes to the maintenance and betterment of Drupal's most important features, some of which you can see here. Things like security, accessibility, scalability, and customization are all well supported with Drupal. Drupal websites are extremely customizable with endless ways to set up the format and the look of the website. The web development market also has a lot of great things to say about Drupal, which makes it quite the reliable resource for website creation. In addition to that, the Drupal development community contributes and maintains thousands of modules. Modules are extra pieces of code that can be downloaded and extended or installed into your Drupal site. Modules can add extra features and functionality to a website, or they can modify existing features and functionality. Either way, the end result of using modules in Drupal is the ability to customize your website and tailor it to fulfill you and your organization's needs. At Drupal.org, you can use an advanced search feature to produce results based on the level of support the module has, if it has generally seen as secure, module categories, Drupal version compatibility, and more. There are many modules that come with the core version of Drupal, but for most websites, there is a need to download and extend other modules to meet user requirements. Now that we've talked about what Drupal modules are, we need to address how to choose the right module based on criteria outside of meeting feature needs. When choosing a module to add to your website, there are a few of these components that should meet a certain criteria to better guarantee the stability and security of your overall website when using these modules. First, you should look on the module page to see how well it is currently maintained. In our example module, Path Auto, we see that it has co-maintainers and a separate person in charge of maintaining the version for Drupal 8. In addition to that, there are supporting organizations that maintain the Path Auto module. This evidence of continued maintenance and support means it's a safe bet that this module is reliable. Next, you should look at the project information for two important criteria. The first is the amount of websites that use this module. In Path Auto's case, over half of all Drupal websites use this model, and thus it's safe to assume that it is a reliable module. Next, look for the badge icon next to the module version that you plan to use. This badge icon shows that the module version is a stable release and it's covered by Drupal's security advisory policy. This is a very important criteria to meet for protecting the security of your website. Once you've chosen a module and verified that the version you chose is stable and compatible with your website's version of Drupal, the next step is to install the module. Depending on the web hosting service, there are a couple different ways to install the module. In this video, I will show you two of the most popular ways to install them. And the first way I'm going to show you is installing the module on the web server through your Drupal site directly. Suppose that you want to download the CAPTCHA module for your website so that your web forms can be better protected against spam and bots. The first thing that you should do after you're at the website's page is scroll down to this section and first check the supporters and maintainers of the module. Here it says that the supporting organization currently is Chuva Inc. If we go to that link, we see that Chuva Inc. is a Drupal services provider, so that means that they are generally trustworthy for their maintenance of the module. Next, take a look at project information. We see that almost 300,000 sites report using this module, and that number is enough to assume that the module is reliable enough to use on our own website. It also has the note here about looking for the badge icon to show that it's a stable release. Now, The site that we're going to be working with uses Drupal 8. So here we want to use the most recent module version, 8.x-12. Click the link and it will bring you to a new page where it has a download option for a tar.gz file and a zip file or zip folder. It also has release notes, and those are often important to check out to make sure that you are aware of any bugs, any new features, and any compatibility issues that you might run into with other modules. Next, click Download the tar.gz file. It's downloaded, so we can open our File Explorer, go to Downloads, we see it here, and I'm going to move it into my Masterlab folder. The way that you install modules on a Drupal site will depend on the web hosting service provider that the Drupal site is hosted on. This website is hosted by Bluehost. So to install a module with Bluehost, after you've already downloaded it and it's in your File Explorer, go ahead and log in to the web admin or other administrator role. And once the admin dashboard comes up, click the Extend tab. The Extend tab is the hub for your modules, and it's where you'll install or uninstall modules. Here, you're going to click Add New Module. And then you'll click Choose File, and then select the file that you want to install. Once we have the module downloaded onto our website, we have to install it. Here, still in the Extend tab, we'll go to List, and then you will type in the name of the module. We see here that CAPTCHA is listed as an installable module under the spam control category, and we'll click the checkbox here and click Install. We know that it's been installed successfully when we see this notification. It's been installed, but it still has to be configured. To do that, like with most modules, you'll go to Configuration and look for the module. We see it here under People, CAPTCHA Module Settings. We can click that and then fill out these forms to determine how we want our CAPTCHA forms to work. And then once we have configured that, you can click Save Configuration and it'll be set. Sometimes a module that you have installed for your website needs to be uninstalled. There are a few reasons why this might be needed. For example, a module that you have been using might no longer be supported or maintained at an appropriate level, or in another situation, the requirements for a website may have changed and modules that meet those needs are taking up unnecessary space. Whatever the case, Drupal allows you to uninstall modules from your website directly. To do this, go to the Extend tab, click Uninstall. Once you're here, you can enter the name of the module that you want to uninstall. In this scenario, we no longer need the CAPTCHA module for our web forms, so we will click this here and click the Uninstall button. It will next come up with a confirmation message, and we will click Uninstall again. And then by seeing this message, we know that that module has been uninstalled. If we go to the Configuration tab, we can see that the CAPTCHA module has been uninstalled successfully, as there is no longer an option to configure the CAPTCHA module under People. It is always good practice, however, to clear caches after performing an action like this, so we will go ahead and do that as well. Many websites use Pantheon as a web hosting option for their Drupal sites. With a web hosting service like this, the method for installing modules is different. Suppose that for this website, we also want to install the CAPTCHA module. The best way to do this is to install it using Composer and the ddev command in the terminal of your local machine. The same page we got the tar.gz file from in the last example also has the command ready to be copied and pasted under the Install with Composer section. Assuming you have a website set up and connected with your computer already, open the terminal of your choice and navigate to the folder that your local site is held in. For this, I'm using Ubuntu. After you have started the DDEP container and authorized the SSH channel as per the Drupal documentation's instructions, you can now install your module. To do this, you'll use the DDEP Composer Require statement as shown. After require, that command that you use will be found on the same web page that you found the tar.gz file in the first example. Once you've done that, you want to do git status, and then you'll see that there's all of these new files added. And then after that, you want to do git add all. And then after that, you want to commit. So when you make a commit to your git, you do git commit. And then here, after the AM, you want to make a you want to make a message about what you're doing. So in this scenario, we're adding the caption module. So we'll write adding caption module. And using Ubuntu, usually you have to add no verify to bypass a couple of controls they have in place to make sure that your commit gets added to your Pantheon website's dashboard. Create mode is what you want to see because it shows that your module is being added. After that, to finally push the module files onto the web server, you want to do git push origin master. It'll ask you for a passphrase, so you enter that. And then once you see that, it tells you that the file has been pushed to the web server.
So to review the steps that we just took to install the caption module, and these are the steps that you will follow in general to install any module on your Drupal website from your local machine. First, we use the DDEP Composer Require command with the name of the module that we wanted to install. After that, we use the git status command to see the new files that have been added. And then next, in our case, we use the git add asterisk command or git add all command because the only files that we had added were the caption module. In some cases, you've made other changes that you might not necessarily want to push up to the web server, and in that case, you'll use the git add command plus the names of the files that you do want to add. When modules have multiple files, you have to use the git add command multiple times for each individual file. Next, you'll do a git commit message to tell other people the changes that you've made. And then finally, you'll use the git push origin master command to actually push those files up to the web server.
Once you have run the git push command, you should go to your dashboard in whatever web hosting service you're using. In this case, this website uses Pantheon. So we can scroll down and see our commit log and see here that the adding capture module commit has been saved and recognized. And after that, we can visit the website, go to extend, look up our module. We see that it's here, install. Again, we have our confirmation message that it's been installed. We can go to configuration. And then we see, just the same as in the last example, that under people, we have our CAPTCHA settings. We can configure it how we'd like. And then we know that it's installed and it's ready to go for our website. Once you have the module downloaded and installed onto your Drupal website, you might not know how to configure and use it. Documentation links can be found on the module's homepage on the right-hand side here. We are using PathAuto for this demonstration, and we can see here that there are two links, one for PathAuto version 8 and a link to the external documentation. The first link just gives us a general description of what the module does, and it also has a section for requirements. Here it shows that in order to use PathAuto, you must also have the Token and Chaos Tools modules installed. It's not uncommon for modules to require installation of other modules, so always check to make sure you have met these requirements first. On the next link, if we scroll up to the top, we first see that we have a much more in-depth description of how PathAuto works. Next, it also provides step-by-step screenshots on how to use PathAuto in your Drupal site. And then below that, there are many links for additional resources for usage tips and troubleshooting. Lastly, comments from community users of PathAuto are included in the external documentation. This is another source for tips and troubleshooting that come directly from users of the module themselves, and this is also where people ask their own questions about the module and others can help them.
Thank you for watching this presentation. With what you've learned here, I hope you can go forward and start using modules on your own Drupal site with confidence.